Welcome to the Sci Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
How you guys doing? It's been a while since we have done anything to do with AFSP, and we did anything centered on it. So we're going to start getting back on track and doing a little bit of things like that. Tonight is a night that we generally aren't scheduled. Usually Mondays we take the night off because we only stream 4 days a week now. Brad will not be with us. I guess he's got an early start in the morning, and it's 3 a.m. where he's at. But I just wanted to center our focus back on something that we have done a lot of work with. There we go, and that is our fundraiser for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. We are still headed towards an overall goal of $20,000. Right now, our overall total monies raised since we started these campaigns about 2.5 years ago is $17,549.99. So we are roughly, it's too late for me to be doing math. So 20,000 minus 1,759 equals, hold on, we didn't do that right. That didn't go right. So 18. 241. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. It's 1,759. All right, so we are $2,451 away from a overall goal of 20,000, which means we average campaign. We've had 2 campaigns. Is $8,775. Which is not bad since it's not something we focus on full time, even though we have focused a lot of time on it. We focus whole days and whole holidays on it. But for a channel this small to be able to pull in that kind of haul in any given amount of time is really good. So I'm here tonight to help us inch towards that goal. Programming note, I will probably not be on the air this weekend. One of the things that I had been letting you guys in on is a move that we had been working on with the center. Currently, if you guys know, because you guys have watched some of the streams where I've shown you, the scene from our balcony. I am upstairs currently. I have been working for months and months and months on getting moved to a different suite in our plaza. It got kind of thorny there for a little bit, but I got the approval today. I get the keys to the new suite, and I will be downstairs. That's a big deal because currently right now, they're having issues getting the elevator fixed, which means a lot of my customers can't get to me, and I want to get this done before it's 100,000 degrees. Yeah, it's a better deal. So I will most likely be working on moving from one spot to another over the next week or so. So there's a good chance I'm only going to stream about one more time this week, maybe Thursday. If just wanted to get these out of the way. And I knew this was probably coming, but I didn't know exactly when, and I didn't want to disrupt the schedule until then. So the link to donate is it's tied to the top of the chat. If you cannot donate, and if you can't donate tonight, save the link. Share this stream. Share that link to other individuals. There's been a lot of times when we're doing a stream, and it's not necessarily somebody that's watching the stream that is ends up donating. It's somebody that they put it in the laps of. And one of the reasons I was late today is because Cox went out. Cox cables went out, and so I'm using my hotspot to do this show. All right, let me say hi to some people, and then let's get going. So yeah, there you go. There is a link. Anything helps. I think there's a $5 minimum, but anything helps. So there you go. And that is the campaign that we have now. Is 2000. The one that we're working on right now is $2,049. And we want to reach a goal for this campaign. If we reach that on the right, which is the $38.50, that gets us to 20,000. David Olson says Superman 22. He's trying to kiss. I think that he would like to retain James Gunn in some fashion. I don't think he's going to. I think James Gunn's going to leave. I think once his contract is up and once he does Man of Tomorrow, I think he's going to go somewhere where I can't see David Ellison giving him the same environment that Zaslav did. Zaslav is not a creative. Zaslav is not in production. He's not part of that whole reality. So he let people do their jobs. I don't know if you guys have been witnessing David Ellison. I can't see that guy being hands off. And if you were brought in under one environment and that environment has changed, you don't have to be there. You don't have anything to prove, and you can go to another company in a heartbeat and get hired. I mean, I don't see him, and I don't see Abdi and DeLuca staying either. But that's just my guess. I beat you to the duck already. Low fourth, what's going on? So as you guys saw when we opened up in the time since we last did this, these people passed away a week or so ago, but I did not just want to throw their names up there. Catherine Short, who's the daughter of Martin Short. I didn't know her as a celebrity, but I knew who he was. And obviously, David Carradine. I grew up watching him in a whole bunch of stuff. Revenge of the Nerds. He's been in a lot of things. Some I watched, a lot that I didn't, but I knew who he was. And both of those individuals committed suicide within the last 14 days or so. And it just seems, and we've had several more. We've gone over those several more. It's only March. As of now, it's only March 3rd. So not only are we doing our bit to try to raise funds, because the funds go into research, the funds go into having people available, the funds go into helping families out who have been afflicted by this. And like any disease, whether it's physical, mental, it doesn't matter. There's no disease that has not gotten more livable with research. Research costs money. Whether it be cancer, ALS, two things we've been talking about for quite a while as well. This is one of those things that is helped by research, and that's what we're here, for this particular show to do, is raise awareness to teachers. There's also a lot of things when you go to afsp.org, which is what I posted in. It only allows me to post one link, but if you go to those things, there are classes there. There are things there that allow you to learn and see things and the people around you, especially if people who have gone through something traumatic or gone through something life-changing, what to keep an eye out for. I know when I was in the Army and we did our suicide prevention classes, because a lot of servicemen were coming back and having those issues. As NCOs, they wanted us to be able to, because we would have people coming from all over, different units and different times and different deployments, and they would all come back with different frames of mind. And they wanted you to be able to identify the changes in the people around you, or at least be able to provide them resources, even if it's indirectly. So, and I don't think that the the Pentagon, Department of Defense, and the U.S. government in the last 20 some odd years since we had been in two wars did enough to make sure that the broken people that came back had resources. I see what they have to go through to get what they need, and it kind of pisses me off. They did what you asked of them when you sent them over there. There needs to be a safety net for them to come back, and they should not have to go through the flaming hoops to get the treatment they need. Nobody should, but definitely people that you put in that situation. So now we usually don't stream. Like I said, this is a special stream. It's not going to last too long, but this is a special stream just to refocus our efforts because I am not. We've been busy. We've had a lot of things going on. I've been busy. Like I said, I got a lot of things going on off YouTube that have to be carefully coordinated. So I have not had the time to dedicate streams and watch longs like we were doing for a while. After I get settled into the new suite, I will probably go back to doing that. But I got to get that stuff done because we got to get it done in a short time and do a grand reopening and all within literally maybe 8 days. So. Long time no see, Slipknot fan. What's going on, Feedback Theater? Jarbo. Why did I lose your name in my head? No, I'm not that kind of live streamer. And me watching me move is going to be. I mean, I might pop in with videos to show you, the new spot as it's getting going, so that because we do tours of the store anyway. But as far as like the move, I don't think that's going to be exciting at all. And me moving my junk from the top floor to the down floor without an elevator, that I don't even know if I want to live that. But no, yeah, it's gonna. I want to get this done quickly, and I want to be up and running as soon as possible. So I will not be streaming as much as I usually. I can almost guarantee you I won't be around Friday or Saturday because those are going to be the two primary days where I have the most people to gang everything and get it down, with the most manpower. So, how you doing, Azteca? What's going on? Yeah, we're going to drop down into the 60s over the next week, low 70s, early 60s. But, April's right around the corner. My biggest pain in the ass when it comes because we've had too much rain during the non-rainy period. Now we're in springtime where it's supposed to rain. Who knows what kind of weather we're going to get then? And then after April, we're rolling into May and June, and then it's back to the heat. Which, to be honest with you, given the sporadic weather in Southern Nevada the last 3 years, I'm okay with just a predictable heat. Just give me that, just give me that all day, every day, and until it's not, because the other weather patterns here in Vegas are garbage. So yeah. Sorry about that. I switched from my hotspot to normal cable. Now, right below me, the little miniature museum. Hold on. I think that's Clint telling me. Yeah. I had the internet thing set up to switch as soon as the normal internet was back on. Yeah, right down below me there was a museum, a miniature museum, and it's the same exact, roughly the same size as mine, different dimensions, and I will be moving down there, so I will be just basically taking all my stuff and bringing it downstairs. Wow. Oh, wow. Dude, how many? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 2, 1, 2. And you seem to be a scary movie fan. And yes, Brad is not here. Hold on. Make sure I'm not. I shouldn't be frozen anymore. At least I hope I'm not. Okay. So let me get this straight. Today they released a news trailer for Scary Movie. Brad decides not to show up. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, I don't even know if he's seen it. Too busy trying to defend the screen. He's too busy trying to defend Mystery Men, which I'm sorry, that's a losing battle. All right, so yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you guys cannot donate, but you know other people who currently can, feel free to spread this stream and to share that link, and hopefully, like I said, to give it, times are tough. I mean, it's hard to pay for food and everything else, so I can understand if people on any given live stream cannot donate. I can understand that. The best I could ask you to do, if you cannot, repost the stream. If you're watching on Twitter, take the share the YouTube link on anything else you got. Just let people know about it, and we'll get there. Hello, Brad is not here, Ozzy, so no creepy sister jokes. Sorry. Got to play the Scary Movie trailer in memory of Brad's absence. Nah, I think I'll just enjoy that absence. New coach, new rules. Are you referring to Paramount Olsen? Yeah, and if that's what you're referring to, yeah. And I try to tell people that whenever there's a merger, you need anybody who does a merger and acquires something. A lot of it is ego. I have never seen anybody who didn't think they could do better than the last guy that they're buying. They're figuring out, I'm buying you. I must be better than you. So, I've never seen anybody drop the kind of money that these guys do when they do these mergers, and then not change anything if they are overlapping in like businesses. With Netflix, I think it would have been different because Netflix is not a studio in the same regards as Paramount, Universal, Warner Brothers. You wouldn't have had as much overlap as you are going to have with Paramount. And I just believe that even if he retained all these people, he is going to create an infrastructure around those people that's going to answer to him. And if you came in under autonomy, then you're probably going to think twice. And the only thing that would change my mind about that would be a contract that had built in it things that just would make it completely non-beneficial for anyone to break that contract. That's it. Otherwise, I think I'd be curious to see where James Gunn is at the end of his contract, which is almost will be here before you know it. Oh yeah, you're talking about that sick ass show. I'm starting to miss. Welcome to Derry. Oh, that show fucked your head up, boy. Can we bet on James Gunn on that? What's that? I'm assuming you can bet on anything on that. Taking off to the next. Hey, be careful, man. Anybody who's traveling anywhere in this globe right now, please be careful. Just maybe be the paranoid soldier in me, but keep your head on a swivel. It's a crazy world out there right now, and I don't think it's one where Americans are the safest. I'll just leave it there. Yeah, and I never knew what was going on there. I know his daughter died, but I don't know what was going on. I never was his because they didn't really go into the immediate aftermath of it. I hope she wasn't suicide as well. Live streaming removed may not feel exciting, but trust me, people watch. Yeah, you're right. People watch. Dude, there's people who just drive, that truck drivers. They're just driving. And they got their camera on the dashboard and they're just going and people are talking to them. And then she, when she's at a light or when she's pulled over something, she reads it or she has a heads up display so she can not take her eyes. I mean, people are like 300 people. I'm like, okay, maybe I will. I don't, like I said, I can't for the life of me. When you guys barely want to watch me when I'm just talking to you right now. But who knows? Maybe I'll get a bug up my ass and we'll do it. Who knows? Not completely off the table. Yeah. Well, like I said, I tell you what, guys, when I start moving, I mean, I don't even know how I do that. Just set up a camera while just at the door while I'm going up and down. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how excited that would be, but wouldn't be the craziest thing we've done. But yeah, we're going to get this move going here pretty soon. I should be getting the keys in the morning. And I've already, I've been looking at this place and been wanting this place since they were going to move me there 5 months ago. So in my mind, I have plotted out every piece of my store that I wanted in there because I can see the whole thing through the window when I'm passing down. And every time I go over there, I put my head in the window and I know where I want my counter to go, where, the yellow wall that is behind me when at the store, where that's going to go, my absolute DC section. I've already plotted out where that's going to go. So this is going to be a real quick move because I don't have to, say, wonder what I do here. No, I know exactly where every piece of the store is going to go. So that's going to be fun. I might live stream. You know what? The live stream of the move might bore you to tears, but me setting up the new place might be something a little bit more exciting. But yeah, kind of excited about myself. I haven't moved anywhere in 8 years. I went through a sporadic time during the first half of the center where I just went around, wherever there was a good spot. Some places I had to leave because they knocked them down. Others when just leases ran up, things like, in the business model changed from just being my very first store, when I was a teenager was a 700 square feet comic book store that literally my wingspan, I have long gargantuan arms. I could almost literally, if I took a step to the left or the right, I could touch it. That's how small my original store was. In fact, I'm real close to it, now years later. And as the business evolved, and then we went through the screening room era where I built a screening room because we went through a period of time where we couldn't get any place to host our Rocky Horror Picture Shows. All the theaters were going out of business. So I created one in my store and we would do our live shows there. And then I started showing foreign movies and everything else. And then Netflix came along. And then when Netflix went completely digital, we kind of got out of that. And, I still have access to that kind of stuff because the Nunnery is now I'm going to be downstairs with the Nunnery. So, Game of Thrones, all the stuff we're going to do. But yeah, it's going to, it's going to be, like I said, I haven't had to move since I moved to that spot in September of 2018. Yeah, 8 years is a long time to do anything, but I got comfortable there. But at the same time, it's time to move. Yeah, I think ASMR. A lot of people just watch people doing stuff. Watching people play video games. I've seen people, making, getting a lot of views, and they're not even good at the game that they're playing, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, you guys may be right. Let's see. Now listen. For all you guys who like Mr. Men and are fond of it, continue to be fond of it. Continue to be on it. I would rather dine on my own vomit than watch that movie again. That movie's horrible. And then Brad trying to turn it into this foundation for the boys. I'm like, what? So yeah, it's all film is subjective, but I really, like I said, we were answering. He saw that because on my Twitter the other day. Amir Khan, who does a lot of movie quizzes and stuff on Twitter, he had worst movie you ever saw, and I had a 3-way tie: Mystery Men, Dude Was My Car, and Howard the Duck, and in no particular order because I think all those movies are abysmal. So that's what started that going yesterday. William eating pineapple and saying he loves Dudes Was My Car. Nah, we don't need that. That last one gave me nightmares. All right, guys, remember we are trying to raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. There is a link in the chat. I know it's an odd time of night. If you can't donate right now, just save the link. I pretty much put the link in our description anyway for the show, so I'll start putting it there. If payday is a couple weeks away, that's fine. Just what I wanted to do with this show is start putting a seed back in our head because I think we've drifted away. So. I think Gunn is going to exit, but mostly for political reasons. As soon as the DCU starts to lose money, it will be cut short. That's a possibility as well. I mean, political reasons, yeah, because of obviously, you know, who's going to be running it and who his dad is, and so yeah, there might be, and you people can say, well, that's unfounded. Everybody's just being paranoid. I've watched what's happened. CBS is one of the greatest news sources, have been. I mean, historically. I mean, look at the people who have sat at behind a desk at CBS News. Look at 60 Minutes. Look at the credibility. I mean, literally, what, 60 whatever years of credit. Well, also Cronkite, I believe, was on CBS News. I mean, you're talking about one of the most, the premier, and look what they've done with it. When with Barry Weiss, who has no business anywhere doing anything involving news, and look what she's done with it. I mean, and when you start doing things like that, people start losing faith in you. As soon as the DCU starts to lose money. And see, that's a case. I mean, because with $79 billion in debt, they said now, everything you do has to roll snake eyes. So I would hate to see that for that reason, because that's the same reactionary shit that the previous regime did. But it's very possible. It's very possible. And David Ellison saying, I want to keep this guy, I want to keep that guy. I will say it 1,000 times over in every stream. David Ellison could tell me the sky was blue, and I'm going to send someone else to check while I keep an eye on David Ellison. I don't believe anything the man says. So yeah. So I the biggest thing for me when it comes to the DCU and new heads and reboots, and I'm just tired. I'm not a hater. I'm not going to get on streams and go crazy and boycotts and do hashtags. I'm just kind of tired. And as you move through life, time is a currency you don't get back. It is the most important currency you will ever have anywhere, anything you're doing, whether it's with your family, whether it's running a business, whether it's going to a con, whether it's watching a TV show. You are spending something you will never get back. You can get money back. You can get all kinds of other things back. Time is a currency. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I just don't want to waste any more time on something I'm not going to get any fulfillment out of. I did that. So yeah. There's a fan-made film about the ending of Derry with the song like a prayer. Oh geez. I don't even know if I need to see that. That sounds, dude, the as is Welcome to Derry is creepy at every single angle. I don't even go on camera. Nobody cares. Yeah, I guess because I started out on camera, I never, I don't, even when I was on streams with people who were like, I would be the only one doing anything live. I have just always had to use expressions and facial expressions, everything to communicate. So for me, it was just kind of natural that I did it that way. A lot of it is because you're running a business and you see people face to face. So I think everybody has different, different unique circumstances why they do or don't. So I don't know, Brad. It took Brad a year, and Aaron. When we have Aaron on the stream, they were all avatars too. William, would you let me sell my comic strip in your store? It's ad generated or wise, but I curate the jokes in the story. I don't know. I'm open to anything. Can I do before and after the video? Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I'm definitely going to do that and do the time lapse and things like that. I'm definitely going to do that. That's something I have never done because the priority was just to get everything from one place to another and get set up as soon as possible. Cause when you're not open, you're losing business. But this particular move, because this is going to be the first time that I've had this much forethought into where I'm going. A lot of times when we moved, when we had to move or anything else, I looked at what was available, and then I just made do with whatever, came up for whatever reason. This time I've been scouting this particular place out. It lends itself to what I do, the way it's broken down. And I had been imagining how I want this to look, where other places I just, it was what it was. You make the best out of whatever, the height, the width, all that. This one right here, it is I think it's going to suit my needs more than any of the places I've ever had. So I'm more excited about this. Usually, like I said, moving's a pain in the ass no matter what. Relocating, even though we're only relocating literally 100 feet now. Not even that. We're literally going, directly below. It's generally a pain in the ass, but there's something about this particular one I'm kind of excited about. So I may document this one in ways that I would not have done so before. Playbook Theater, I hope Gunn doesn't leave because I feel like no one else can really fill his shoes like Filoni or Feige. He's the needle in a haystack. Yeah, but the thing about it is when you're David Ellison, you don't think like we do. You are confident that you can do better. Now, you're not going to say that out loud right now because you're going through this transition. You don't want everybody to bolt before you get a chance, to get in there. But they'll find somebody if it comes down to that. I'm done. I'm done. I just don't feel like it's. And they said there's a prior to the whole sale and everything else that what they did on their way out, how those clowns that ran Warner Brothers, what's their face, Ann Sarnoff and Toby Emmerich, and the way they handled, even Walter Amada, but he was a hired hand. The way they handled things the last 5 years of their tenure, I don't ever want to waste that kind of time again. That just turned me off. So I hope we don't run into that situation again. But if we do, listen, I am not as attached to this DCU. I am not as attached to this as I was to DCU. I am not hanging on the plane like Tom Cruise was. I'm at the bottom floor just looking up, and if it turns out great. If it doesn't, it's not going to do the kind of shit that it did with the previous regime. So I hope he stays, but I don't think he's going to. And there we go. Yeah, you've been to most of them. You have a comic store. You have the most nerd thing that nerds don't have while moving. Just pick up a piece of memorabilia and talk about it, and then box it. I might. It's not really, something I've really done. But then again, none of this was. Prior to being a guest on Poindexter Lounge, I wasn't a YouTuber. So I'll think about it. It's not completely out of the question. Yeah, like I said, I just want stability. I think what has killed DC and every medium DC has been on, no matter what the platform is, has been lack of stability. And that is something a customer sees. Customers see that. Customers sense that. Hold on for a second. In continuity, that's the word. Continuity and trust. And like I said a couple of days ago, the most important thing between a customer and a retailer is trust, is continuity, is the belief that you as a retailer are going to come through for that customer. And that's a rhythm, that retail rhythm. And that's something that DC hasn't had. So if you were to lose James Gunn again, you're basically disrupting that rhythm. Whether you think everything he's done is gold or not, it is a ascension. It is a build up to something. And if you never get a chance to build a foundation, listen, he could do 5 movies and 3 of them suck. And then the next year he does 4 movies and all 4 of them are good. We're not giving anybody room to grow. It has to be this immediate $1 billion or whatever they are else. Nobody gets a chance to evolve. Nobody gets a chance to get better. Nobody gets a chance to grow with their fans. And that's something that has killed DC up until this point. Now we got something going with movies. I wish it were more frequent, but we definitely got something going on with comics. So I hope they see that. But I don't know if David Ellison is he's not attached to these IPs in the way that I'm I don't know if he's going to understand it. I hope he does, but I don't believe he will. It sucks because here we go again. All right, let's see. Yeah. I would watch her because I used to watch. I haven't had a chance to watch it on real time with Bill Maher, and she was on all the time, and she never struck me as. I did not agree with anything the woman had to say. Don't get me wrong, but first of all, I could never imagine her as head of any news agency. She does not have the qualifications. She just doesn't. And then, what she did once she got there was just, just embarrassing. State media, full on state media shit. And it's one of the many reasons why the legacy of the news is eroded, because you put people in these spots that just aren't qualified, and people see that. So yeah, she's horrible. Okay, talking about the money aspect, the merger might kill Supergirl and Clayface's box office, just like it did back in 2023. The only thing there is in 2023, there was a lot more going on. First of all, you had absolutely horrible management. Two, I said this back when, if you're not going to use these films to properly transition into whatever you're doing, why are you releasing them? Because you basically announced that we're going into this direction, but you want people to go into what you consider to be a dead direction. If you weren't going to continue or return to form with those movies, you put those movies out there, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, you had this coming out." So it was kind of confusing. So you had bad management and a whole bunch of other things, but this could very well be disruptive, because I don't think this is going to be a pre-merger. I don't think we've seen a last shoe drop in this merger. I think there's several lawsuits that bring up very legitimate claims when it comes to, especially with the announcement of HBO merging with Paramount Plus, which, by the way, smarter people did this. When the whole Discovery HBO merge, that was dumb. Don't do that. And I think a lot of attorneys generals, even in red states, are going to be like, wait a minute, you're creating something I can't afford, and you're eliminating an option for me to go. I don't think a lot of customers are going to be okay with that. And those attorney generals are going to strike in the behalf of those customers. Also, the leverage of having another independent theater disappear like that is going to be a problem. And people will say, well, they let Disney and Fox do it, they let so and so do it. Yeah, but all those have a cumulative effect of, okay, this is one more, maybe this is too many. So I think we are still, litigation wise, a ways away from this being a set deal, and it could get ugly. Even David Zaslav say, hey, it may not go down. If it does, we get $7 billion in that motherfucker. It could get ugly. I hope. Because I think Supergirl is not Superman, so that's a strike against it. But it's got the MILF magnet, Jason Momoa in it, so I think that's going to make up for a lot. I am intrigued because I like the story that it's being based off of. Clayface is going to be like what, a $40-50 million movie. I don't think Clayface would hurt. Another thing I have a problem with is just the frequency of these movies. I think we should be further along in the DCU than we are, but that's just me. But I hope that what you're saying, Jarbo, is not the case, because 2023 in regards to DC was just a waste of time. It was just a waste of time. So, Joga. Yeah, and that's another thing. Kevin TCR was a fucking joke. See, that tells you guys right there, one bad hire. Jeff Robinoff should have taken that spot. He should have been the head there. He helped build what Warner Brothers was up to that time. One bad hire can fuck up a whole bunch. You literally, just from that bad hire, you just blew 10 to 13 years, 10 to 14 years. Just even though he's been gone for quite a while. That train never got back on the tracks. One bad hire could do it. I don't recall you being in the store, but you know what? I get tourists in all the time. The exact is about 1,400 square feet, so roughly the same exact size as mine is right now. Yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing, and I think I think what DC needs, whether it's Gunn or anyone else, whoever is in that captain's chair when it comes to DC, needs to know the effects of these IPs. That he needs to understand the ebbs and flows and the connections and the expectations, and he needs to be able to think from both his point of view and when it's necessary, a fan's point of view. How do you feel about these characters? How do you feel about me doing how would I feel about this? He's not always going to be able to yield to fanboys at the same time, but having been one, he can understand what needs to happen. When you view the IPs as experiences, like I think James Gunn does, it's going to lead to a lot more positive outcomes. When you see them as money and just commodities, I think that's where DC has failed. $5 super chat from Rational Skepper. Thank you for the support. Disney commits to their universes, Star Wars, Marvel, Avatar, and those universes have had multiple $1 billion. And yeah, and that's a good. Thank you for the $5 chat. Commitment. That's a key word right there. He just brought up commitment. That is something that DC has lacked. They flinch when things go the slightest bad. And the slight of any expectation that just missed, they panic. They have prior to these last few years have not been committed to anything, and it showed in their product. I would like to see them commit, get a foundation, get something going, and even if James Gunn leaves, do we have something that a foundation that somebody else can come in and continue? But I don't think he's going to be able to get to that point because of all this mess. So, thank you for the support. Yeah, your schedule's kind of fucked up, Chappie. When are you? I know you always message me, but it's usually at a time where I can't do it. Well, this week won't be it because of the fact that as I explained, I will be moving. Let me get into my spot for the movie you wanted to do, because like I said, we just haven't been able to link up, and it's been busy. But I am still committed to doing your movie. I even forgot what it was. Yeah, I mean, Blue Beetle was all right for me. I thought it was a good HBO thing, but I didn't think that was something that was theater quality for me, but a lot of other people did. I enjoyed The Flash. I understood that the circumstances that movie was being made over, so I could understand that it wasn't as good as it could be, but as it was, I enjoyed The Flash. Aquaman 2 was all right. I just at that point the dead end feeling was gripping on me. So yeah, I mean, some of the movies are good, but it was just the whole situation was just like, oh, it's exhausting. Let's see. No. Once you do this so many times, you just become white noise. Because once you pull out the reboot tool, you'll always have it at your disposal. When you get used and comfortable to just, I'm lazy, I'm stupid, I just want to start over again because I can't figure anything out, your customers are like, well, we don't want to figure it out either. I just need a small team of experts to find new ways to be nice to me. Okay. I just need no more moves. Who's okay. Yeah, no more reboots, guys. You know what I think about reboots. When lazy and stupid fuck, reboot is the love child nobody wants. All right, where are we at with our fundraiser? Like I said, I know that tonight's a long shot that anybody's going to be able to reach into their pocket, but this is to make you aware. And as I get settled into the new spot, which, like I said, it's not going to take a long time. I'm not leaving the plaza that I'm in. It's right downstairs, and I've been planning this out in my head for a long time. We're going to get back to our AFSP movie screenings and things like that, because those were fun. I had a lot of fun with those. Hold on. Just gotta make sure. A lot of people know I'm up during this time of night, and they will message me. Okay, nothing important. Yeah, I got a crew. I actually got a lot of people that are volunteered to help. This is gonna go really really quick. So hopefully, I can get set up this weekend. My goal, my dream would be to set up this weekend. I mean, get everything moved at the beginning of the weekend, and then by Sunday have everything set up to where I could start fine tuning things. Rational skeptic William, if Gunn leaves, would Peter Safran stay? No. Would other DCU cast stay? The cast themselves would probably stay. The executives would probably go. You know what? Let me remark that. Let me rebate. I don't know if Safran would stay. I don't know what his relationship is with Gunn. He's more of the business person. He's more the corporate guy. He in my opinion, he was kind of part of the problem with the previous DCU. But I don't. So I can't automatically assume that Safran would go. I do feel strongly that Gunn would, and that's just based on the fact that a lot of people, you know, they will work for the guy that bought them in, you know, because that's a philosophy that they were sold on. I don't think this new guy is going to be consistent with that philosophy. Even if David Zaslav were to stay in his position, he's still got to answer to somebody now. He now has a boss, whereas now he does not. You know, you went from David Zaslav being one of the last words you got to go to get anything approved, and now you have this big, you know, company over you that's going to be peering at you because they need to find $70 billion in debt to erase. So I would have a problem with it, not just with him personally or anything, because I don't know the guy. I would just have a problem with more disruptions. I'm tired of the disruptions. We already had a disruption that we should never have had. That was costly and it was a waste of time. So I would hope that we more of my time is wasted. But see, that's a me thing though. If it is another reboot or whatever, or if anything like that, I have a decision to make, and it's going to be real easy. There's just too many other things right now that I enjoy, that I barely have time for, that I miss out on. Why am I going to waste my time on a universe that can't even figure out if it wants to be there or not? You know what I mean? Damien, how you doing? Long time to see, man. I'm waiting. It's done. It's coming out this year. I want a trailer, and I want to watch it because that's been my most anticipated thing of the year. Scorpions, I can't remember it. If you're talking about like Mortal Kombat movies, I'm not a fan of anything Mortal Kombat on the big screen so far. So. I still haven't seen fanboys' reactions to Zack Snyder saying 2 minutes was good. I ignore those because they're kind of meaningless. They're kind of meaningless. I mean, I just don't want to get caught up in things like that. Justice League Unlimited on Saturday. I'll think about it. William David Ellison comes to your comic stop and asks you what he can do to help you sell more DC comics. What do you say? I stay away from DC. Step back. Right now, I am not 100. Listen. I think that you currently have the right guy running DC Films simply because I think he understands the IPs in a way that you need to exist currently in this universe. But I don't know how that's going to turn out. So I would just step back. If things don't go well, then make some adjustments that don't blow up everything. When it comes to DC in general, DC Comics, you need to just step back. There's nothing I think you can do coming from where you're coming at that's going to do better than where Scott Snyder is doing right now. So step back and observe. If either of those elements of the DC franchise start to do things that you don't think is consistent with success, make adjustments. And if the adjustments don't work, then you make wholesale changes. But I think that if you play a supportive role in this, I think we'll get a lot more out of all of it. So I would just tell them to stand back. I don't remember it. I don't remember it, but the 90s was a long time ago too. So. I think a lot of people feel the frustration, which is why outside of Batman, DCU have issues. Yeah, and he started with some characters that that aren't necessarily the biggest draws. And I think he's starting to realize that, yeah, these stories are still good, but at the same time, you got to get that peripheral fan, that person that's not the geek running around with the Shazam shirt. Joe and Ginny Average have to be attracted, and Batman, Superman, the big cheeses are got to be the ones that you bring to the table to shine the light on some of these obscure characters. So I think he's starting to learn that, and I think as he goes on, I think you're going to see more of a centric. I'm surprised that it's taking this on to bring Batman in. For business reasons, Batman for me should always be there. Have James Wan build a Justice League Dark Universe, money right there. Nah. Remember, the general audience doesn't give two shits about Justice League Dark. They don't fucking care. And I'm not saying Justice League Start is a bad. I mean, you can do it in animation where the stakes are much, much, much lower. But if you're trying to generate revenue, for an IP at a time you need money, there's no way in hell you're doing Justice League Dark. That shouldn't even be that. You should be years down the line from anything like that, especially in your establishment phase. There's just no way in hell nobody who's in charge of making money or is responsible for the things being profitable. Like I said, you've already done things like Creature Commandos. You need to stick with what the general audience is going to gravitate towards, and it's not going to be Justice League Dark. So. Yeah, it is, but I like I said before, when we were talking about this briefly, I think AI is going to get ugly enough to where we're going to find out just where everybody is on it. I think there are some lawsuits. Obviously, with all this is going to lead to a strike anyway. So there's going to be a new world after that strike gets settled, however long it lasts. So a lot of these studios are going to know where they can go and where they can't go with AI. Because you're going to have litigation, you're going to have a collective bargaining. So we don't know. I don't know where the rules and regulations are going to end up with AI, but I know there's a reckoning coming soon, and it's going to everybody who's in studio management is going to have to deal with it. So. Not enough to spend that type of IP money on. And a show on what? I mean, nothing. You're having problems getting the Keanu Reeves one on track, and that was actually semi-successful 20 some odd years ago. But no, if you got a limited amount of funds to spend anything, you're not spending on that. And I hope people aren't holding their breath for that type of obscurity. It's just not going to happen. They can't afford to. Especially if this goes through, you're going to have $79 billion in debt, far above your net capital of what your company's worth. You're going to be swinging for the fences. You ain't swinging for obscure C and D list. You can't. At some point, you'll be able to once that foundation is set, but you're not going to do that. There's no way in fuck you're going to do a Justice League Dark in lieu of a standard Justice League. This is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. This is not the time, Gunn didn't cancel that. That got canceled because of tax write-offs that got rescinded. Gunn wasn't even at DC when that happened. Yeah, and once again, it's not by accident. These things like this find a way not to happen. These things find a way not to happen because people who want to bring those up and want them to be pushed to the forefront are usually people like me or in a society like me. And if you do the math, what we make up as far as the money spending crowd, not enough to be doing something like that. I just don't see it ever happening. Yeah, we're not 20 years ago though. We're not 20 years ago. We're in 2026. Whole new different ball game, whole new different circumstances. So you're going to tell me that a company that's hemorrhaging money that needs to draw the general public is going to go for characters that most of the general public just doesn't give a fuck about. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. There will be a time for that. but I don't think it's now or anytime soon. Doesn't matter. You're going to see them many, many more times, Azteca, because the general public connects with those, and they are the ones that are going to decide whether these franchises, these movies, and these companies make money. William, you wouldn't watch your Guillermo del Toro Justice League connected to Guns DCU? I would, but I represent such a percentage that will bankrupt you if you rely on me. What I would watch and will be good for business are not the same thing. Scared money don't make money? No, but money spent without common sense is not good. It's not being scared. It's playing the percentages. If your mandate, if your job is to be profitable, then you have to do things that make you that make, and not just profitable on a scale that gives you that kind of momentum. It's got to be done with the character. Keep reason. What got DC where they were at was being scared with the major IPs that they had, for being pussies with the major IPs that they had, not being scared to use obscure characters. When that plaza is renovated, it will be rented. It'll be rented to someone else eventually. When they fix everything on that top floor and they start letting tenants in that section, yeah, somebody will rent that section out. With the move, does that mean more? Nah, well, that I can smell that on either floor. This entire town smells like weed. The entirety of Las Vegas smells like weed. You can't escape it. And listen, I voted. I was all for legalizing it. I'm all good with it. Goddamn though, can't we can create? We can clone sheep. We can send satellites into space. We can do all these things. We can't make weed smell better. What is? Because that shit stinks, man. And some of it is like eye-watering bad. Some people walk into the store, hey, homie, I'm like, oh, dude, that's worse than mace. Ugh. We can make scented anything in this world. Can't we make weed smell better? Stan. Let's see. William David Ellison said he's also a Bruce Timm fan and loved Batman, the animated series. I mean, that sounds about right, given his Turtles situation. Like I said, I don't think he should pursue that. Let the professionals play with the DC characters. Because if he takes the same approach that his statements led him when he was talking about not doing the last Ronin, I don't want him any part of the creative part of DC. I want him nowhere near motion picture DC if that's the way he's going to think. I mean, skunk weed. Yeah, it's so horrible. It's selling out every time I get it in. It's selling out all across. Yeah, it's horrible, Joga. Listen, just because you like fluff turtles doesn't mean the last Ronin wasn't good. Sorry. I have to say, being downstairs, being more adjustable. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the biggest issues. Believe it or not, I have a lot of customers who are at some degree of disability. Some of them are in wheelchairs. Some of them walk with a cane. Some of them walk without a cane, but their mobility upwards is not good. There's I have a lot of customers that that have family members or people with them in their unit that have issues, and I have not had access to those customers in almost 2 years. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting, and I'll be glad. I will be glad for that not to be a worry anymore, for sure. But we're talking about movies. We're talking about movies. We're not talking about the comics. We're talking about the movies. What Ellison wants to do with the movies. He wants fluff. All right, have we raised any money? We haven't raised $1, but that's fine. I didn't think we were going to tonight. I just needed to put that out there. I just wanted to give you guys. I wanted to put a stream out there that people could share, and because sometimes we get donations when we're not on the air. We've gotten a good amount of donations when we're not doing a live stream. The live streams and the marathons are just to get to create a spectacle for people to come to and get them in the mood to donate. But that doesn't have to happen there. It can happen at any time during the day. It could happen when I'm sleeping. It could happen when I'm woke. It could happen, during the week or so that I might not be on the air. That's why I'm saying share this link. I'm going to put this link in our channel as well because I don't think it's still there. I think I got rid of it on accident. And share this link. And we're going to do, after I get settled in, we're going to do more. I may. They won't be this Saturday because I'm going to be in the middle of a move. William David Ellison would love to come to your comic store, your shop. He loves Star Trek and DC. Would you should invite him? First of all, yeah, that would never happen. B, I'm just kind of tired of the guy, but you know what? I give it a chance. Let me listen. I gotta. The biggest disadvantage David Ellison has had is he hasn't been doing anything. I mean, he's only been ahead of Paramount for a little bit, so he hadn't had a chance to do things here. So the entire time that this guy has been in my zeitgeist, it's been this merger, which he's made me, not think the best things of him, and him running his mouth in other places. But maybe once he gets to work, actually doing shit, and actually has something there that I can see going forward, maybe who knows. But right now, I'm just kind of tired of the guy. I'm tired of seeing him. I'm tired of hearing from him. I'm tired of hearing about him. I'm just tired of the guy. Not at this level, but you can still leak down. But yeah, currently, yeah, I will be under an area that has not leaked because I won't be. I'm going downstairs where my roof leaks, but I'm going to the side, and I will still have keys to that unit so that I can put the buckets out there. Trust me. Hard enough, my heart. Listen, I don't hate the guy. I'm just tired of him. And I don't believe anything he says. I mean, he has gone from one thing to the other, and it's just like I just don't know if I trust him with the advanced machinery. You know what I mean? And what he's about to embark on is a big journey with a lot of complicated machinery, and I just don't know if he's the guy for it. All right, guys, that is where I'm going to leave it. Not only like, subscribe, share the link. It's at the top of the page. When those of you who are watching this stream at a decent hour, please take that link, click on that link, and share that link with you on your pages, in your chats, anywhere where you think there's people whose hearts are open to or have been affected. Listen, you may have people in your circles right now as we speak that have been, directly affected by somebody that has committed the act of suicide. I know there's no one around me that has not had been an effect. There's no way. I mean, 6 degrees of separation. There is somebody in your circles, that has been affected. You may not even know it yet, but when you put this link in their laps, it might trigger them in a way that that will help us out. That will help out the cause. Oops, what's going on here? It's the thing letting me know I'm live. I'm about to wrap up the stream, and YouTube has just let me know that the host is live. Awesome. Hour and 13 minutes in. Yes, I am going to have everything is going to be the same. I'll have the Green Lantern. I'll have my open sign. It'll just all be moved down. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you in advance for sharing the link and getting us to our $20,000 goal for American Foundation suicide prevention. And I can't make any promises. I'll do my best. When I can get in, I'll fit in a show or maybe. but there's a good chance that you will see me maybe one more time this week. Maybe tomorrow, maybe No Topic Tuesday, because I really don't have to do much for that show. But Thursday is kind of sketchy, and the weekend is definitely going to be sketchy because that's when we actually start doing the actual move. So please be flexible with me and allow me to have some time to take this center into the next stage of its existence. And I promise you, as soon as I can get back to normalcy, we will. Have a good night. Have a happy Tuesday.